I started lifting when I was 12. Like, I've never stopped, period. No off season, no time off. But I love it. I love the
How did you
repetitive.
find it?
I was getting bullied. And I was like, man, I don't want to.
With all your brothers, you were getting bullied?
Yeah, well, fighting with your brothers is a lot different than like social interaction.
Okay.
If a lot of folks I talk to with extended families, the sentiment of, and this isn't a blanket statement, but just my experience, I can make fun of my brother.
Right.
But if you ever fucking say anything about him, holy shit, it's on. So there is a difference between conflict with kin and what society thinks of you. And as a young mind, I was getting really, really put through the ringer for how I looked and how I acted. I didn't look like everybody else. I didn't act like everybody else.
How did you look different?
Well, children of the same generation. I grew up in a small town in northeastern Massachusetts that was pretty much 99.9% white. They listened to like hair band metal, rock and roll. It was a farm town, so like jeans and flannels. They drove trucks. I don't fault anybody for living that way, but like this was also the crest of rap music, which eventually became hip hop. And as a young person who necessarily was rebellious towards their parents, and I idolized my cousin who was 2 years older than me, and he lived in a little bit more of a metropolitan area, so he would hang out with city kids, and there was more of a rap influence. And then on weekends, I would hear rap music for the first time, and hear curse words, and like,
Who's the first artist you fell in love with?
I remember specifically all the stuff that I wasn't supposed to listen to, like Two Live Crew from Miami, NWA from the West Coast, even like Slick Rick, Eric B. and Rakim. Heck, the two first CDs I got were the Fat Boys and the Beastie Boys, License to Ill and Crushing, and this was like 1985.
Fat Boys was one of my first two. Salt and Pepper also.
Yes.
Yes.
So it like right at this wave where this new art form, I can only, like, everything in history has already happened. I can only imagine this is what parents thought about when like Elvis came out
Sure.
and like rock music came out. To be like, you can't act like this, you can't dance like this, you can't dress like this. And then the wave of the 60s and like the whatever.
Sure.
Like
History
I
repeats
went
itself.
through my
Yeah.
patch. And because I was the one kid in an area who really connected with this as a rebellious way to say fuck you to my parents, I embraced everything. Like the rayon polka dot MC Hammer pants, the high top fade. So like I was the only person who looked like that. And compounding interest, my brother Steve was a nerd and he was in high school, and like it's a small town, so like the junior high is here, the high school is here, they line the buses up. My bus happened to be here, so I have to walk through all the high school kids. They just got done making fun of my brother. Boy, am I an easy target. There's the kid in turquoise polka dots with the high top fade. Fuck off, kid. So it was just kids being
But you had
kids.
to know you were going to stir people up, being so different.
I don't know, because like again, I grew up in a farming town. My next door neighbors were acres away.
Right?
So, like, it was just the five of us, and we were all so eccentric and different. I didn't really understand. I didn't, and I just thought, like, yeah, just be what you want. It's cool.
Right?
And it wasn't until like 12, 13 where it was like, oh, I kind of need to fall in line, because we didn't beat each other up at like 8, 9, and 10 when I was in Little League with my friends and started participating in more of like, I guess, community activities. But it's kind of just the five of us until like 9 or 10.
And so you got bullied.
Yeah, yeah.
And how did you handle that?
So I was like, man, I don't want to learn how to fight, but if I make myself stronger, maybe they'll leave me alone. Because diplomacy sure ain't working.
Did you get beat up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But nothing to be like Karate Kid. Mom, I hate this stupid bike. I just want to go home.
Right, yeah.
I
You weren't
just
left laying.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Could always get up.
Yeah. Also an important lesson.
Yeah, sure. I mean, man, every moment could you can make something out of every moment.
You can.
And then my grandfather finally convinced my dad to get me a weight set for my 12th Christmas gift. And it was an awesome one. It was a Weider weight bench with like all the attachments. So it had like the leg extension, leg curl, the lat pull down, the chest flies, the dips
The
on the back.
universal.
It wasn't a plate loaded thing. So
Okay.
it wasn't a plate loaded machine. You had to actually move the weights. But I got a barbell, weights, and this cool weight bench with a big poster on how to use it. And my parents gave me like my own corner of the house. It was very small, but it was like a nice little space where I could go and be me. I could play my rap music and no one would mess around with me. So I created an environment where
You
I
were
liked
happy.
to do it.
Yeah.
So I would get home from school and like put 2 hours in the gym and then go, hang out with my bros. And like that became a part of the routine.
And how much of an influence did your grandfather have?
I think he was just the person getting the equipment in the door.
Really? That's it?
And then after that, like after junior high, when you get into high school, like there was no youth football in West Newbury, Massachusetts. So the first time you play football, I was 15 years old. Well, when we got to high school and I was a freshman, I'd already been lifting weights for like 2.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I was noticeably stronger than my peers. So the coaches were like, you, over here, hit that guy. And I wasn't any good, but I was just strong.
Right?
And that helped me gain a little bit of fluency in football, which, oh man, you can help our team win. You're all right. You're pretty cool. You
became a part
Yes.
of the team.
Yes. And that helped me get connections with like-minded people of like, oh, let's go work out. I know this gym in Amesbury called Hard Knocks. I think you'd really love it. And then at 15, walking through a basement gym underneath a bowling alley in Amesbury, Massachusetts. It was like,
Do you
man,
remember the person who took you there?
not the first time. I know it was a key gym where you had to pay, you'd pay for the month. It was like $12 a month. And then like for an extra $5, they give you a key.
So you could go anytime.
Yes. So there was one of us who had a key and they would let the rest of us in. We would just go late. And we
Sure.
would all just work out and you would have to leave a guest fee and like leave it in, but we never did. And then I started leaving the guest fee. And then I met the guy who owns the place. And then I was like, man, this place is the coolest. Because I started training there when like it was packed instead of when it was empty and I didn't want to be caught. And that's when it was like, oh, this is going to be my hangout for a while. And I was surrounded by older folks, people of all ages, people of all abilities, but like people who went at it and wanted to get better. And that was a cool environment. I think a reoccurring pattern for me ever since, like as a 15-year-old, you're a little bit stronger, play with the 18-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
I was never, even here, I'm never the smartest guy in the room. In my own place, I'm not at the top,
Right?
but
Close.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like you're not the smartest guy in the room, the smartest person in the room. And I think that's also a cool vehicle for growth, knowing that there is a place to go, not encouraging complacency. Like, oh, I've done all there is to do. I can't do anything else here. I was always surrounded by people who were bigger, faster, stronger, wiser, people I could learn from.
Taker said something interesting recently about never being complacent.
It's tough.
It is tough, but if you have a growth mindset, that I think that makes a big difference. But so here you are training.
Mm-hmm.
You're 15. You're getting stronger. You're playing up, so to speak, which you love because it's a huge challenge, I would imagine.
So it's weird. Like at 15, I wasn't like, oh, this is a huge challenge.
Right, you don't
I was like,
get it
man, I
then.
get to hang out with my friends, and we just
Cool,
met this
older kids.
older friend who's got
Yeah.
their license. This is great. Like it was more like that.
And it wasn't like he
Looking
can buy
back
the
on
beer
it, you can no,
because you didn't drink.
not at all.
Right.
But it was just, I went from family social connection to like, wow, I'm building connections with people I care about and learning about myself, learning about what I like, what I don't, by trying and failing. But
How important is community? Because that's what you're talking about.
yeah,
right?
yeah. I don't know.
Whatever community you create.
I believe that that's right up there in importance because no one does it alone. you spoke to your coach, like this is something I did by myself, and then you checked yourself immediately. You're like, not by myself. No one does anything alone. We do get, we absorb the energy of folks around us, right? So I've been in a lot of locker rooms, and I've been on a lot of teams. And when you're on a losing team, it is tough to rally the troops because you're on a losing team. When you're on a winning team, it's tough to piss in the cornflakes because everything's awesome. A lot of wrestling locker rooms where if we are going through a bad patch, or if there's a few bad attitudes in the room, people will generate they'll gravitate towards that. Misery loves company. But if the overwhelming sentiment is positive and curious and uplifting, you'll see a group of guys in certain outfits that are just like unbeatable, like everything is good. So in that sense, I think community is the most important.